Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Borkino game video. First time here, welcome aboard. Today's video is how to manage your time while we're waiting for the next content update and what to look out for post chapter 4. Alright, so one of the things that I want us to go to is characters. Go into your parties and make sure to have a core 5 or 7 units at most to be pretty much ready at rank 7. Now the reason why you want them at rank 7 is because once you build out your first rank 7 team, you will be able to unlock more portions of the grotto, you'll be able to unlock more portions of the dungeon, and being able to focus in on those units will help you out a lot more. Now if you are probably like, are you sure these 5 units can build everything? Right here, Sky, he's one of the folks who was very dedicated on Twitch, and he actually completed all of the story mode up to 8-15 with the base 1-star units. Alright, right here you can see it. He shows all the gear. I'll leave the links to this video down below. Absolutely legendary. He even completes hard with this very same team up to 8-15. Just note that this is a lot of RNG, so it's a lot of times where like the boss isn't attacking certain areas and he can get the proper attacks in. So not everyone can do this, but I have to say it's an impressive feat. Now some of you are probably wondering, how do I climb arena with those base 5 teams? Now if you are climbing arena with like Carol and Kokkoro, Yui, Pecorine, and Yukari, that's kind of impossible, especially since like some of arena is really crazy. No matter how much you can take advantage of it, where you're building just the 5 core units doesn't really apply to you if you're pushing in PvP, because I know that is going to be a difficult outlier for some people. This is more along the lines if you want to build those 5 units and you want to focus more on PvE related stuff. If you're pushing PvE while also pushing arena, you're in a different stratosphere, right? You're in a different layer of the game because PvP requires you to raise particular units that are different from the actual story mode. The next thing that I want us to take a look at is stuff like refinements and how to get ready for them. What I mean by this is take a look at my JP account, look at how this sword is refined, and look at my overall power, 7,925. Watch what happens when I upgrade her, Christina, right? This is Christina in particular, and oh my gosh, I hate to see it, we went down in power, right? 7,925 to 7,831, and not to mention I have to go and farm out all this gear that I don't have, right? So that's one of the things that I don't recommend people to do if you haven't seen it already. When we are going from the next content update and you are rank 7 and you're max refined, don't just go to rank 8 thinking that you're going to be strong and you're going to be powerful. What if you don't have the gear to pretty much go to the next rank, right? I pretty much showed like the quest helper stuff the other day and showed how you can farm for your gear because we can't really see it right now. But just note, most of the gear that we can try to acquire in the next stages, they're going to be in chapter 9. And what happens is immediately like rank up your characters and you don't have the appropriate gear ready. They're going to be much weaker and you won't be able to tackle the new content that's going to release. Speaking of new content releasing, let's go ahead and go into clan battle over here in JP and talk about a few things. So you can see how it says 30 out of 900 right now. Let's go ahead and go into right here and see how much stamina we have. We have about 10. Let's go into our guild house and collect some stamina if we have some available. Yes, we do. Some stamina over here, and let's go ahead and raise that 30 out of 900 that we were just looking at. Let's go into Princess Pecorine right here and give her some gear. So we're going to farm this gear out in particular. Go to this section. We're probably going to get it in the future sometime. It might be a while until it appears. Don't worry about this. This is just an efficient way to see all of the gear at once in order to farm for it. I'm pretty sure some of y'all seeing this are like, blasphemous, why don't we have this right now? I'm sure we'll get it in the future. Make sure to buy stuff out in the bonus shop that's going to help you raise your original 5 or just get gear in general, because this is worth the mana cost, especially in the beginning where it looks like you shouldn't do it. It's probably the best time because that EXP can go a pretty far way. So let's go ahead and invest more into here just so we can see like an actual difference from that 30 to 900. Go into this one in particular. The reason why I'm farming this is because I get more gear, and you can also see like the stamina difference the more tickets you use. So let's go ahead and use 5 since I only had 52 and expend 50 stamina, ever so closer to the actual goal right here. And yes, you will still need to farm like at least 20 of these. It's really difficult. In other stages, since I'm rank 9, it's different, right? But in other stages, like some gear costs less, right? Go over here into clan battle. You can see right here, now we're at 110 out of 900. So you're definitely going to use your stamina in order to fill this bar up. And one of the things that I have to say is that it will be easy to at least get 2 runs a day. Probably getting that last run will require some duels in order to spend via stamina, and I would say it's really worth it, and hence why it's also important to raise your player level, because the higher your player level, the higher you can actually get more stamina, right? So let's go back into here and talk about a few more things for clan battle. So when you go in here, there are going to be 2 sections. There's going to be the actual real try section, that's why it says 0, and then there's going to be the practice mode, which is very important. It can show you like how much HP do you want it at this current HP that it has, or do you want it to be at the HP at 100%? I recommend keeping it at the HP that it currently has to keep things more realistic, and then you just click the start button right here. Now note here that we will have all of our units available, the ones that are eligible. I'm assuming it's like 20 plus. The only reason why is because I haven't used any units in my first clan battle actual fight. So if I used, like, for example, units on a real try, then the units right here in the practice mode, they will still be available, but I won't be able to use them for another run, if that makes any sense. So this is the team that we are going to be using. Now we can see, for example, the team that we would sort of run if we were running a more attack oriented team. This is a team where it's like nothing but attack, no defenses, and this is what I don't recommend when we first start out clan battle, just because of the sole purpose, like this is not going to be efficient enough for us because our tanks aren't tanky enough. Like you can see right here, Princess Kokkoro, while she is strong, she just got completely yeeted by that bug dude that looks like a Digimon that I can't remember. So yeah, like this is what you don't want to happen, where all of your units are available for hits and the boss can essentially just take you down one by one. So let's go ahead and get out of here and show you probably the team that you're going to run for the first couple of clan battles. Now in the future, you don't have to run a tank, you don't have to run as many healers and everything, but for now we're probably going to be in the state where we're going to have to run at least, you know, one healer, which is Princess Kokkoro, and then another healer like Yukari. In the future, much better healer, so you can use her and you will have no worries whatsoever. You can see right here that Kokkoro is not going to die as fast as she once did. She died like around like the 50-second mark earlier. Now she's perfectly fine. It does have to do with a lot of RNG. So if Princess Kokkoro dies right here, you just reset the run, all right? And this is why we practice, so we can get a better team in, and this is also why clan battle is such an important feature for folks, because it shows how well that you've been prepping, shows how well your team can actually perform. Because there are some units where you're like, I feel like this team would go together, and then once you actually implement it, it tells you an entirely different story, right? And this goes to show how powerful Yukari can be, because she's even good up to now, and I only have her at like 4-star, and she becomes even like crazier at 6-star. She has her unique equipment, which makes her even better. So don't be afraid to raise her. Just, she's gonna be good forever and ever. All right, so you can see right here, we're dealing 201,000 damage. I was able to deal like around 400,000 damage within the last 30 seconds in my last run, but I was being more active. I was like clicking more madly and everything. And this is what I want us to focus our teams around on during clan battle for the first set, because it's not going to be so much as dealing more damage unless you're a whale, where it doesn't really matter as much, because I'm sure the whales will have like really strong like DPS units like Kaori who can face tank. It's all dependent on player level. So if we had above player level like 90, then we could use someone like Mimi to face tank. That's the real issue with clan battle in the beginning phases for us, is that we are essentially not up to snuff ranking wise in order to tackle the clan boss battles appropriately. So you can see here we did 3.87% damage, which isn't terrible, and in the end that's much better than just dying straight from the get-go. I just want to show you a sneak peek what essentially you should be prepping for, because this is probably the most endgame content that we can get currently outside of events, which are pretty much similar to clan battle in some ways, because events will have a similar format in the sense where, let's go to an event really quick just so you guys can see it. So go right here in the quest section, you go right here, this is like an infinite catalog of quests that you can do, and then you go right here, this is how like the events are going to look like, and then you can pretty much go into here to challenge a boss of your preference, right? And then you challenge that boss as many times as possible, and it's similar to the format the way you're doing it in clan battle, where you pretty much have to beat that particular boss. So at the end of the day, Princess Connect revolves around PvE content, which is Cygame's natural like habitat, where you are just making sure you build teams, focusing in on like the particular teams that you feel like are going to be best in order to tackle the bosses that are ahead of us. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Once we hit 12,500, we'll do another giveaway. You guys have been absolutely smashing like the sub button, so thanks so much. Leave a like, consider dropping a comment. I appreciate you. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Depending on how that poll that I just released goes, we'll do different things. But anyways, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.